A lot of people are getting turned off on AI because it scares them, or they think everything is AI, or the AI is also putting out a lot of garbage. So AI free is maybe going to become a big word as a prediction. What is real and what is AI? The badges are not going to be verified anymore on social media. It's going to be some badge that says this is a real human, and that's going to be a major advantage. As Amazon sellers, a lot of us don't like hijackers and people copycatting us. I think that's going to amplify. I think you're going to see a lot more of it. You're going to see this AI copycat economy.
The Amazon game is changing faster than ever. 2024 brought big wins, tough lessons, and surprises no one saw coming. But the real question is, what's next? In this episode, we're diving into the biggest updates, bold AI predictions for 2025, and the strategies you'll need to dominate the year ahead. Our guest has been involved in internet marketing and e-commerce since 1995. He sells millions of dollars of products on Amazon and is the co-host of the Marketing Misfits podcast. And guess who's the other co-host? Also, he mentors sellers collectively, doing over $500 million a year on Amazon with his course Freedom Ticket and Helium 10 Elite Masterminds. He organizes the $1 Billion Seller Summit along with his successful newsletter, The $1 Billion Seller. All right, now let's welcome Mr. King. We go to a lot of events together. And, some are the cigar events, but a lot of them are Amazon or outside of Amazon. The events are just a big part of what we do. We meet up at events, we socialize at events. Why do you go to events? You're knowledgeable a lot of the times. Like I've gone with you to a ton of events where you're not speaking, you're sitting there with your plod, recording, and then we go and compare notes. But what's in it for you?
Well, there's a couple things that are in events for me. It depends on the event. So if it's an Amazon event, typically not learning a lot, honestly. There's a few speakers I'll always try to listen to, or someone that maybe I haven't heard before, but someone said, hey, this person's really good. So I'll go and check them out. But the vast majority, honestly, I'm not learning a lot from. So I might sit through some of them, but my mind might be somewhere else. But those Amazon events are great for networking, for hanging out. A lot of my best friends are in this space. Just last night, we had someone cancel a New Year's Eve dinner, and we had one spot left at the table. Someone canceled last minute, had an issue, and so I was here, and Amy Weiss was here with. She came up from San Antonio, and her and I were scrolling through our phones trying to find someone last minute to invite. That's local. Everybody on our list, we had name after name after name after name that are friends of ours, but they weren't local. They're like people like you.
You mean I would have been invited?
You would have been invited if you were local.
Jeez.
And so we just, I figured, your jet doesn't get down here in 2.5 hours, so it probably, doesn't give you enough time to pack all the cigars and stuff. But anyway, so we were like, just started talking about it. It's like, yeah, it's weird how like all of our best friends aren't around us. Most people are the opposite. Their best friends, who they hang around with, are local. They go to the bar with them. They go out to play kids soccer or whatever it is. For me, it's a social thing. So I get to come hang out. I get to come hang out with you and shoot the shit with you. It's other like-minded people that are very similar to how we think. They get us. We get each other. We get each other that we're not working for the man. We have our ups and downs, struggles as a business owner. We understand each other. We're doing similar things. That's a big part of it right there, is the socialization side. And then people at these events, at Amazon events, it's different than other events. And I was talking with Mark and Amy about that last night, talking about how it's just a different vibe at an Amazon event versus, you see it at other events. We were at that one show, where was it, the plumbing event was going on at the same time or something. These guys aren't hanging out doing the same thing that we are, or maybe they are, we just don't know it. Or I go to Go High Level. Yeah, there's mixers and people are getting together, but it just doesn't seem like it's the same bond as in the Amazon space. We're trying to figure out what is it that just makes this Amazon space just a different kind of bond. And maybe it's because we all go back. A lot of us, been doing it for 10 years, and we just have a lot of history, or I don't know what it is, but that's part of it. And then the other part is it's a marketing for me. I mean, being out, I'm meeting people that might sign up for my newsletter. I'm meeting people that might come to my Market Masters think tank or my BDSS events. We're meeting potential podcast guests for either Marketing Misfits podcast that we do together. or my AMP, my gas that I do for helium-10. So it's a whole variety of things, and I would go crazy if I wasn't getting out and going to events. I can't be one of those just sits behind the computer and just does my work. I mean, it does create issues sometimes where you get behind on things or you got to pick and choose projects. It can interfere with day-to-day business. But if you're
Not taking your buddy's calls.
not taking your buddy's calls, hitting that button like leave me alone, leave me alone, leave me alone. The event space right now is very crowded. There's
Yeah.
too many, especially in Amazon. There's too many virtual summits, and they're all a lot of times it's 90% the same people, and just recycling presentations, maybe tweaked here a little bit. And then you got all these in-person events, and they're struggling. It's tough. You look at Prosper this year. I just saw they're putting tickets at $150 to come to Prosper without a coupon code, or maybe there's a coupon code in the ad, but they're running Facebook ads right now. 100. This is not for the exhibit hall only pass. This is for the whole shoot and caboodle. $150. So they're just, and then you look at traffic and conversion canceled completely. And there's a lot of people having trouble making any money at conferences. Some of mine are, the last BDSS was a money loser for me. The last Think Tank was a big money loser for me. This next one won't be. It's happening next month. But I had to put one under my belt so that because people are like, what the hell is this thing? And now that I've done one, people know, and now this next one will probably break even, and then the third one will probably actually make money. So it's a business investment. But a lot of people get into these and they think they're easy to do, easy to put on, and they're not. As you know, you've done CMS, you've done some events with some other people in partnerships, and these things can be a beast to do them right. You can whip something together and do it half-ass. And we've been to a few of those, and then we just like, what the hell are we doing here?
Loving this episode? Sharing is caring. Don't forget to share this episode and give us a review.
If you're listening to this or watching this, get out to something. Just even if it's one of the cheaper ones, just get out. If you're in Europe, there's stuff in Europe. There's a big one in Berlin end of this month I'll be speaking at. There's Augustus does his in Prague. There's several. If you're in the States, you have zero excuses. If you're in the States, there's tons of them. If you're in Australia, there's some events there. In Asia, so get out to something, and it can really get out of your shell.
Now, I guess the other thing I want to talk about is this. Well, we've got marketing misfits, and a lot of people have heard me talk about it on Lunch with Norm. If you haven't experienced it, you got to go over and check it out. We're not only talking about marketers, but just people who have thought outside of the box to make a difference, to become successful, or people who have had just crazy failures to come back, and we try to figure out how they did it. And they're completely different. Kevin and I kind of banter back and forth quite a bit. The guests are always really cool. We've got fantastic interviews that are going on, but this is kind of going into this other portal that's going to be happening, and you're going to be hearing about it very shortly. And this is an educational portal called Ascend. Kevin and I have been working on it for how long, Kevin?
Yeah, you don't have to remind me.
So
hurry up. Get on with it.
Yeah, get on with it, y'all. Even though there's only one person I'm talking to, but this is coming up, and just want to let everybody know that late January, February, we're putting out this portal that you guys are going to love, and it's free, and it's the best of the best, like experts that are giving these short videos. Each video is a learning experience, all action tips, gets right to the point, maybe 2 or 3 action tips. We're getting that up. We'll announce it, like the channels and everything like that. We've got lots of content right now, but we're planning on having a lot more content on it. It'll be a regular, we'll be turning out these videos regularly. So just keep your eyes out for Ascend. That's one of our new projects that we're working on. I don't know if you want to say anything more about that.
Yeah, I mean, like Norm said, these are short, under 10-minute videos, so they're straight to the point on different topics. Everything from selling on Amazon to social media to email marketing to all kinds of cool stuff. And it's going to grow to be really big. We're launching it with some really nice content, but it's going to, as people see it, there's a lot of people in our that Norm and I have reached out to that want to participate, but they're busy, so it's not their top priority. But they'll see this and go, holy cow, this is really cool. I got to be in this. And so you'll see it ramp up really, really fast. But Norm and I were recording just a few days ago the intros, because each video we do a little short little intro, and it's kind of like a little teaser or something, like what's this video about. So you don't got to watch the whole 10-minute thing. You can, if it's not of interest to you. But so we kind of tell you, and we just were banging through recording all these things for these first ones. I even turned to Norm about halfway through it, and this is honestly, I said, hey Norm, I haven't watched all these videos yet, but what we've been reading, some of these I want to go watch, based on these little teasers that we've been reading off to edit into the beginning. So it's that good. So if it's getting my attention to make me want to go watch it, just think of what I said earlier. Of when I go to these conferences, I'm like, I'm not going to watch. I'm not learning much, but I want to watch some of these videos. That should say something about the level of the content.
Right. Same with me. I was sitting there yesterday just going, wow. First, I don't know anything about this topic, and I want to hear this. And the people that have submitted the videos, all top level people, you might not have heard, which is great. You might not have heard of a bunch of them because they're not in the Amazon space, but they're very well known in their space. So we're at the bottom of the hour. We will just go to a sponsor. Hey, Amazon sellers, are you leaving money on the table with Amazon? Well, TrueOps is here to help you reclaim every last cent you're owed. Over 1,400 brands have already recouped millions with TrueOps cutting-edge technology. Finding reimbursements others may have missed. And guess what? You only pay 10% commission, no more overpaying the industry standard of 25%. Plus, the first $1,000 in reimbursements is free to you. Here's the best part. TrueOps doesn't get paid unless you do. If Amazon ever reverses a claim, TrueOps automatically credits your fees back to you. Now that's peace of mind. Remember, $1,000 free reimbursements to start, then just 10% of successfully recovered funds. You have nothing to lose but the 3 minutes it takes to sign up for a free audit and so much more to gain. Sign up with the link in the description and start reclaiming what's rightfully yours. I don't think anybody has ever done what we're going to be showing on stage, and that's just going to lead to next level AI. We've got a bunch of different tools that we're working with AI wise, but you mentioned that you were looking at some different AI predictions and reading about some in some newsletters recently. You want to get into that?
At the end of the year, beginning of the year, people are always doing predictions, and I read 25, 30 newsletters a day, literally a day. Well, weekends is a little bit less because not as many are published, but so I keep on top of a whole variety of stuff, from AI to Amazon to whatever. And that's one of the ways I curate the content that goes into my newsletter, is just by staying on top of all this stuff and kind of piecing it together. But several of them have come out with AI predictions, and I started reading a couple of them a couple of days ago. I was like, some of this I don't agree with, but some of it I agree with. So I started making some notes and then thinking about a few of my own. And I was like, this might be something kind of cool just to throw out there on the podcast today. So you want me to share a few of those, Norm?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
One of the big ones is a lot of people think this year's Super Bowl is going to be full of AI commercials. Every year the Super Bowl kind of has a theme. It's like the new, one year was a lot. Timu took like half the commercials or whatever it was. Another year it was all, when the internet first started, got big 25 years ago, everybody was, doing pets.com and all that kind of stuff. This year, the general thinking is there's going to be a heavy dose of AI in the Super Bowl commercials. And there's going to be some big announcements that are going to be made. You may even see someone like OpenAI actually take an ad or something. I was talking to this, AI is a buzzword right now, and it's like a little shiny object. And I was talking with Amy Weiss, who's pretty big into the AI space, and she's letting me use a couple things from one of her presentations for this presentation we're doing in Orlando as well. She said, yeah, go ahead and use a couple screenshots here of something that she has, but she's pretty big into it. And we were talking, like, Amy, I was like, look, you realize that me, you, Norma, Vanessa, several of these people, we're the 1%ers. We are on the cutting edge of some of this stuff. We may not be the top experts, as some of these data scientists and stuff, but when it comes to AI, we're way more versed in it than almost everybody that's in our audience. A lot of people have maybe dabbled in it, done a few prompts, used it in a Siri type of way, but going in and really diving deep and doing stuff, most people don't. So most people don't really understand AI like they should. They don't understand the true power. But also AI scares people. So one of the predictions right now, saying everything is organic has been a big thing. If you put organic this, organic that, it's a big marketing thing. Well, a lot of people are getting turned off on AI because it scares them, or they think everything is AI, or AI is also putting out a lot of garbage. So AI free is maybe going to become a big word as a prediction. Like, using the word, this podcast is AI free, or this influencer stuff is AI free. That's a big prediction. Another one is, we kind of see this with what we're doing. Amazon's kind of started the way with this, but AI is going to amplify this. One person $1 million companies. You've heard the one person $1 billion company. Someone said that, and that's probably coming. But one person $1 million companies using agents. And so a lot of people don't quite understand agents yet, but AI agents, if you played a little bit with it, or you can see how Microsoft just released something that controls the Chrome browser with it, like it's pretty amazing if you've seen some of what you can do. But with agents, you can set up a series of agents that do specific tasks. So like if you could have a social media agent, and several social media agents. One agent, their sole job is to do research. Go out there and find out what's the buzzing topics right now, and that's all it does. And it comes back and it brings back, here's the hot topics of the day. And then there's another agent that does the keyword research on that. Okay, how do we rank on these? And you have another agent that actually creates the ads, does the graphics for the ads, and creates the Photoshop or Canva stuff. And you have another agent that actually sets the campaigns up. Then you have another agent its job is to actually monitor the PPC spend, or on Facebook or on Amazon or whatever, and so on and so on. So you have all these very specialized bots that are all working together and talking with each other, just like a group of humans would do at an agency. And that's where we're getting to. So people at agencies should be worried. A lot of them are going to lose their jobs. We're going to have a big revolution, just like we had 100 and something years ago, the Industrial Revolution, where there's going to be a big turnover. And instead of a PPC agency having, or one of these agencies that does graphics and all these Amazon agencies, I'd be worried because a lot of them that may have 20 employees now, they're going to be down to 3 or 4 pretty quickly. The ones that say, no, we're going to fight this, we're going to be the AI free, they're going to have a hard time charging the price because prices are going to come down, and they can't do it as quickly. So it's going to take a longer time for them to turn it, because humans are doing it versus machines that are working 24/7 and in cahoots with each other. So you're going to see some of that. Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot more voice versus writing. And when it comes to prompting or asking stuff, you remember the days of dial-up, of AOL dial-up, and you hear this little modem beep go up. A lot
Can
of
you
people
do
say
that again?
that make that little modem beep, it's connecting to the computer, and you're waiting. They're saying that writing right now, writing a text prompt or texting somebody, a few years from now, that's going to be seen as so old school, just like a dial-up's old school. It's all going to be voice. Everything's going to be voice. You look at the
Kev,
new open. Yeah.
I was just going to interrupt you, because even now, for the most part, I have it open 24/7. I'll be talking to AI, just asking, querying it regularly, all the time. And if I'm getting to the point, I don't even want to type. I'll just, unless I'm attaching files or something like that. But most of the time, it's just, talking to it talking back. What do you think? Next move. What do you think between this and this? Research, where did that song originate? Whatever it is, but it's always open. Want to learn more about Kevin's thoughts on AI, newsletters, and more? Check out another episode here. And one of the other things that you said, AI free. Well, one of the prompts that I have when I'm writing articles is to make simple mistakes, misspells. It looks like, a human wrote it. And by the way, with those agents going to a researcher agent, the researcher agent going into a writer, going into a senior editor, and then there's 4. I forget what the middle one was, but anyways, just these agents, like you were saying, working off of each other to come up with the SEO, but just coming up with the perfect blog article or the perfect press release, search engine optimized to exactly what Google's looking for, or what we think Google's looking for. But anyways, I just wanted to interrupt to mention that.
Well, that you're that 1% that's on that cutting edge. A lot of people have used Siri or something like that, but this is way beyond that. You can call ChatGPT now, 1-800 ChatGPT on your phone, and you can ask it stuff. I've done it 3 times in the
WhatsApp.
last.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. You're gonna see too, like in the influencer space. I know Kelsey is in that space. It's gonna get hurt actually by all these video creation tools where you can dub yourself, someone like, there's a lot of Amazon sellers that are listening to this that like, I don't want to go on camera. I've sent out 1,000 emails and one guy responded to me, that this stuff ain't working for me. I'm just going to use AI and create my own videos and create my own influencers, and you can do that now. And some people are having success with that, and some of it's really hard to tell. But I think you're going to see a point where it's going to flip, and then people are going to be like, okay, what is real and what is AI? And what's real back on that AI free is the badges are not going to be verified anymore on social media. It's going to be real. It's some badge that says this is a real human. This is a real human actually delivering this. It's a verified real human. And that's going to be a major advantage to people that can systemize that and actually have it and prove it that they're a real human. And so I think you're going to see a switch there. I think you're going to see a switch with browser extensions where right now there's a lot of GPTs. You got to go to OpenAI, you got to have the $20 a month account, and you can do all kinds of cool stuff with GPTs. But I think you're going to see that evolve into browser extensions. Browser extensions that you just add onto Chrome or add onto whatever Arc, the browser you use or whatever, that will do these very specific AI tasks for you. And that's where it's going to be more practical. You're going to see, and for what we do in Amazon, you're going to see a lot of, execution has been the biggest problem. How many people take the Freedom Ticket course or take your Walmart course or something and never do anything? They go through the course and they never launch the product because ideas are great, but execution's where it's at. That's why people do webinars and they say, here's how you do this whole X, Y, and Z thing. Start here, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. And they basically give you the secret sauce. And then at the end they say, oh, well, that's too much. We have this tool that will do this all for you. Like people buying it left and right. And that's the same thing as execution is a problem. But with AI, it solves a lot of that problem. So you could have good ideas and then just let the AI do all the execution, put it in motion. And you're going to see that in supply chain and design. So where you're going to have AIs that are monitoring Amazon, monitoring Etsy, monitoring Temu Shop and TikTok and go, oh, this product over here is taking off. And that AI is going to automatically create variations of it, figure out which one's the best. Actually automatically going to go Alibaba's got a new thing that does all kinds of product design AI. Design the AI, send that to factories to get quotes. And the quotes are going to come back. This is all going to happen in like an hour or something, all behind the scenes, a day at the most or whatever. And then you're going to say, it's going to come back and say, oh, you should launch this, 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 and this, because on Amazon, there's holes based on the keywords and the research and this, and this, and this is hot over here. We already have the factory for you. They're ready to do it. They can put it up. You're going to see this whole evolution. I'm not saying this is all going to happen in 2025. I'm saying, but this is where we're going. And this is where we're heading. And that type of ability and the people that are on the cutting edge of that are going to have major, major, major advantages because there's 3 big keys, I think, in this new AI industry. You had the industrial revolution. We're having the AI revolution right now. It's distribution is a big one, which that could be the discovery. That's the influencer discovery platform, the TikTok. That's you having Amazon as a marketplace. That's a distribution mechanism. So having distribution is going to be key. It's also having your own email list or your own customer list. Then you're going to have timing is important. And so timing is like what I just said, is like what is hot now? What do people want right now? What can you get in on? And so AI is going to help with that. And then how do you talk to the AI to convince people to buy this? And that's like what Vanessa is going to talk about at our talk next week. Then the next is like what you're talking about is like it's community, because people are going to be craving that human connection that in real life, like we talked about going to the events. And that's going to become big. And so building communities and building ways to remarket to these people after the fact, those are the 3 big, then you can then resell and you can build these raving fans and grow a business really, really strongly and have a moat around you that no matter what happens out there, you can still survive, even if Amazon goes down or even if something changes in the AI algorithm on TikTok or TikTok goes away. I think that's what you're going to see. Going to be some big changes. It's not all going to happen overnight, but I think you need to be prepared for it. And the people that are on the cutting edge are going to have a major advantage.
Don't miss out on our live giveaways and Q&As with our top guests in the industry every Wednesday at noon Eastern. We'll see you there. I think it's going to happen sooner than later. Even for us, when we go to events, We use this little, it's called the Plod. And we'll go to an event. Kevin and I will meet up, and all right, Kev, you take this, I'll take this, and it makes notes for us. Then we come back. It summarizes everything for us. It basically does anything. There's 8 different types of prompts that you can give it, but action items, questions and answers, meeting notes. Then what I've been doing with it recently, I don't know if I told you about this, Kevin, but there's a lot of webinars I don't want to listen to, like, the whole thing. I'll just put my Plod down, have it listen to the webinar, and now I've got my notes, and I can get all the fluff out of the way, and it'll just be the 3 main points or the 10 points I wanted it to provide. So all of these things are making our lives easier. And I think everything that you just said is going to happen in 2025. It's moving fast, but you're going to see this thing really accelerate.
One of the things you're going to see too is as Amazon sellers, a lot of us don't like hijackers and people copycatting us. I think that's going to amplify. I think you're going to see a lot more of it. You're going to see this AI copycat economy pop up, where you have it's basically it's a new type of competitor. Someone's got these AI copycat bots that are doing so products are going to get cloned almost instantly. Instead of killing the companies, it's going to create these weird dynamics where the copies actually increase the value of the original. And it's going to create this weird, I think you're going to see something like this. So like original creators are going to be like product DJs in a way, if you will. It's how you mix stuff. It's the timing. It's the mixing. It's like people always say, and you have a really good newsletter that Kelsey helps you with that is well done and well curated. But what makes the Lunch with Norm newsletter or the $1 Billion Sellers newsletter stand above all the other riffraff that's out there? It's the DJing and the curation. It's how do you mix? There's all this stuff you could cover, but how do you mix it? How do you lay it out? How do you present it? It's just like DJs at a big festival. They're playing the same music you can hear on the radio or other places, but they're mixing it differently or organizing it differently. And that's where I think you're gonna start seeing like product DJs basically with this new AI world, and it's going to be fascinating to see how this evolves and how this fits into all these marketplaces and social media things and all this stuff starts melding.
Especially if your agents are a DJ, like what you just talked about with DJs. I really never thought about it that way, but if you think about it, just mixing your agents are going to be very interesting to see what you can come up with. I've already seen, like, just recently, geez, over the last few months, but this week, I've seen people talking about hiring your whole staff. They have all these agents, they're ready to go. You pay a flat fee, and you've got your human resource agent, your operations agent, your whatever it is agent, and then you've got your customer service, which I've got to talk to you about this later, but just some incredible things that we're starting to see come out that you can use for your website or for anything at all. But I'm excited about it.
We're living in a fascinating time that's going to be changing rapidly. I was talking with Amy about this yesterday. She's like, you know what? I've thought about doing like a bunch of short little courses on AI. She said, but as soon as I do one, it becomes outdated the next week because OpenAI or Gemini or someone releases version 03 or whatever it is. And so I was like, it's changing so fast right now. It's hard to keep up. But I told her, I was like, look, one of the comments I said is that it's okay that happens. You don't always have to be on the cutting edge. You just have to be one step ahead of everybody else. And so all of you listening, it's like, shit, do I got to go in and dive deep into AI? Not necessarily. If that's your passion or something you have time, go for it. But just stay a step ahead of the masses. And if you stay a step ahead of 90, if you're in that top 5% or 10% and you're ahead of everybody else, you have a major competitive advantage.
With these LLMs, and I've done this with ChatGPT, but teaching me, I'll say, I need to know blah, 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 over a 2-week period or over a month. And it's an hour a day I can dedicate. All of a sudden, it gives me a whole curriculum of what I need to know. And it's teaching me exactly what I need, like Python, for example. I wanted to understand Python, and it gave me a course outline for a 30-day course about Python. It's so easy to do if you implement these things. So I always want to because it's coming out so quick, I make it just a point on Saturday or Sunday, or sometimes at night, maybe after 8 o'clock, I'll just take a course. Every week I'll take, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes, just learning new things over the period of a week. That kind of keeps you on top of it. But then the next week, something else comes out. But you're right, Kevin, just understanding where it's going, or understanding, like, you remember when we were, I think, on top of this before a lot of people, was a Notebook LLM,
Hmm.
what you could do with it. And, people were, oh, I've got an audio. Well, we took that, we separated it out, we put animation, and we took virtual people like through HeyGen to talk, uh, through these notebooks. And now people are starting to talk. I'm seeing it all over. Oh, notebook, 10 tips for Notebook LLM. Well, we were talking about that 4 or 5 months ago. So, it's just, if you stay on top of these things, you could be first out.
You said something else important there where you're taking these courses. And
Yeah,
I think that's the thing a lot of people quit doing when they get out of school is they quit learning. And I always say when you stop learning, you start dying.
right.
And so if you always, whether it doesn't matter if it's not AI, that's okay if that does float your boat, but constantly out there learning something, because there's always something you can apply from other disciplines, whether that's be reading history or reading romance novels or learning how to build a shed in your backyard or whatever it may be. You can always apply certain little things, like as you're driving that nail, you're like, oh wait, what if I did this with my product because the package came this way? I could change mine. Some You get all these little ideas. And so when you're not learning, that's when you start dying as a person and as a business. So constantly be out there challenging yourself and picking up things to actually learn. I highly recommend.
I've told you before that I was heavily involved with combat sports. When I first started going out and working out, you get your white belt and you know nothing. Then you get your yellow and orange. And then when you get to your green belt, you become cocky. You feel like you know it all. Then you find out very quickly that you don't know it all. And I had some instructor come up to me and say exactly this: when you first come in, you understand you're a beginner. Then when you get to be your green belt, you think that you know everything a black belt knows. And a lot of people just kind of leave the sport at that time. But then when you get to your black belt, that's when the learning only begins. So it's at black belt level when you become that expert. You think you're an expert, and then you find out, I don't really know it all. And it's so true. And that's why there's, so many Dans or so many degrees in each black belt level, because you're continuing to learn. So just to equate that to education.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
Last question for you.
Yeah, I guess this AI bot summit's going to be cool that we're speaking at next. I think it's sold out. It's in Orlando. I think
And
it's
this will
sold
only
out.
come out afterwards.
Yeah, and this will come out afterwards anyway. But those of you listening here live, I think it's actually sold out. But there's a lot of cool events that are coming up as well. I know I've got a full. I don't know about you, Norm, but I've got a full schedule up until April. I got a bunch of stuff that I'm doing.
You're just trying to get under my skin.
I'm just trying to get under your skin. But yeah, I'll probably see you in February, right? End of February at the next think tank.
Yes, you will.
And
But
I might have to invite you. I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, see who's not coming, and then you'll
Yeah,
invite
yeah,
me.
you'll see. Exactly. It's like, oh, I got my list of here's the 20 I want, and here's the like,
Yeah,
okay, fill in the
yeah.
gaps.
And I'll be in the closet. Everybody
Uh,
else will get these luxury rooms. But actually, the closet, the last think tank was quite large. It had even a bed in it. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's actually, it's almost sold out. I mean, there's a few. As of this recording, there's like 4 spots left. So it's actually going to be really good. The last one was really good, but I think this one may even be a notch above.
Yeah. And let's just have a bit of a fun story to end this off. And by the way, happy New Year's to everybody out there as well. All the best in 2025. I think I'll let you tell the story about my trip to your think tank last time and how I switched the room that I chose. So at Kevin's think tank, it was late in the evening and they said, oh, we've got to change your room. Do you mind? And I said, no, not at all. So I grabbed my stuff and we headed over to this new house. But what I didn't realize is that there's people in there. So I didn't want to, it was dark. The lights were all out. So I didn't want to go and interrupt anybody, like go into their rooms. I didn't know who they were. All I saw was a bunch of shoes. So I saw one door open and I thought, okay, this is my room. It turns out to be the kids' room. And I'm on this tiny little bed trying to
Airbnb. Yeah, you were the last one to go in there.
Yeah, and when I woke up in the morning, I went back and then I found out that over on the kitchen side, there was a huge room available and the door was even open, but I just didn't see it. But it was kind of fun. And, those are fun stories. All right, let's see. We got it. We do have a couple questions just came in.
All right. So from UV Blocker, can you please explain more about using ChatGPT for webinar session notes?
I think you mentioned you use your Plod to record.
Oh,
There's
okay.
lots of tools that will record webinars that you can use, but I
Plod
think what
is
Norm
the
was saying
best.
is Plod was the best that he and I both use. So I think they're asking, how do you do that? Do you let it record it? And then I don't think he understands the whole process.
Okay.
That has it
So
built in.
first of all, Kels, could you put the Plod website in there? PLAUD. So this is a little device that you just put on the back of your phone. When you're recording a webinar, all you have to do is turn it on. It'll record everything. It'll record the audio. It will transcribe everything. And then all you'll do is hit whatever type of meeting notes that you want, either the questions and the answers, lecture notes. There's 8 different versions that you can get, and it's so easy. So all it is you buy the device. They give you 300 free minutes a month, which for the most part, most people, don't need to buy a subscription. If you do a lot more, then it's 1,200 minutes, and I think, what is it, like $3 or it's cheap, but that's all it is. So if you want to check it out, I think it's probably one of the best investments. I learned about it from Kevin, and I think there's been tons of people that have bought or heard about Plod from me at these different events. It's fantastic. And when we go to events, all we do is split up, put them on the table, hit record, and then at night we go back and we just file them. It's an incredible device.
Yeah, they're really good. And the way it does the summaries, it's got built-in prompts that actually you could take the raw transcripts and drag them over to ChatGPT or Claude or whatever and do it yourself. But they've got built-in prompts that are kind of their secret sauce. They're behind the scenes. You don't see them, that actually do some really good creation. And you get like 15 different ways you want to summarize it. And you find the one that's best for you or pulls the information the way that you like it. And it's all right there. It's on a web app as well. So you can download PDFs or Microsoft Word documents or whatever. You can easily share it with people. It's really, really cool. And I saw one. It's in Singapore at the event I was in November. They actually had a live, basically, version of Plod. It wasn't Plod. It was some other company, but it was recording live. And 5 minutes after the talk of each stage talk, it was available on a website in a summarized form, which was pretty cool feature to have. They offer this for free. They had a sponsor or something that helped pay for it. But I went and looked at it, and I was like, nah, the Plod is so much better, because I recorded one of them with my Plod, had it do its note summaries, and then I went to the one that they provided, and the Plod was so much better. And I don't know if you look at DealCon, I don't know if you had a chance that we were at back in September. He was recording those, and he in the replays. I just kind of glanced through those about a week ago when I had a little bit of spare time for an hour or so. He did some AI summaries too at that event, and they're included with the replays, and they don't compare to the Plod either. They're not bad, and neither one of these were bad, but the Plod just blows both of them out of the water as far as actionable tips. And one of the things I like about the Plod too is that when you and I are having our brainstorming sessions, we'll sit down for 4 to 6 hours. We'll get together in person, because it's just different than doing things over the computer, more focused and just a different energy. And we will brainstorm stuff, and we might talk about something in the first hour. Hour 4, I get up to go get the lunch or go take bathroom break or something, and then come back. Like, your mind is thinking while you're walking away or going to the bathroom or whatever. You come back, it's like, hey, remember that thing we were talking about earlier? we should do this, this, and this. I just had an idea about how we can embellish that or add to that. The Plod will actually put those two things together, even though they're 4 hours apart in the notes. It's that good, and combine them. So it's really, really cool tool. And I don't think that's an affiliate link or anything there. We're just talking about it because it's really cool.
I see that there's a question here, and I think I'm a good person to ask because I am and was an extreme introvert. Kevin saw me the first time I had to speak on stage, and it wasn't a pretty sight. And it's getting used to it, and I did take a course on this too because, like I said, extreme introvert. I was in sales, and I could talk to 2 or 3 people, but to go into a crowd of people, you never catch me doing it. Then I joined an association called a YEO, and that helped me learn how um, to get out of that shell. So in a crowded room, I know what I do. I just pick a circle that's talking, go up to them and say, "Hi, my name's Norm." And that's it. The conversation starts. And Kevin and I have gone to events, and that's exactly what we do. Just go into a group of people and just start talking. Or if we hear somebody talking about something interesting, then just introduce yourself, go in. And you might be nervous, doesn't matter.
You use your beard too as a
a lot
marketing.
of
I
people.
noticed you did that in Washington at the thing. We went to a mixer. We didn't know anybody. And
Yeah.
Norm's like, we're both standing there looking at each other with our drink, like, we got to talk to somebody. And I'm like, all right, I got this. And you just went up to found somebody that had facial hair, had a beard, and went up like, you made some comment about something, and instantly you had a bond, and it just
Yeah.
kind of went from there. So that's a good technique that you used there as well.
Yeah. So, you can do that, something common, but again, you can listen for what people are saying, just interrupt, but just, hey, apologize to interrupt. My name is, and it's fine. Also, if you do have, like for us, cigars is open network. Like if you smoke a cigar, people just come up to you, especially if they smoke other cigars. But so many people come up to us when we're smoking. They don't know us from anybody. We go to these events, and that's something that we always find incredible for networking. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, especially just doing it for the first time. But there are courses. You can even go ahead and ask ChatGPT, see what they have to say. But all I can tell you is from my experience, it's being able to go up to people and just introduce yourself. That's the easiest way. I found that in EO, which is Entrepreneurial Organization. Like even for this podcast, you should have seen the first. I can't watch. I never watch my own podcast, but back during the first or second, third, the first 50 of them, I'm shaking like a leaf, and it's just trying to get out of that cycle. So hopefully that helps you out. Tip for an introvert, maybe a gin and tonic before event. Yep, that could help too. Okay, so I guess that wraps us up. So you got a lot going on. You want to just mention how do people get information to go to your think tank or the newsletter or your Iceland event?
Oh yeah, the best way is just to go. You see it on the screen sometimes there. $1,000,000sellers.com. Sign up for my newsletters every Monday and Thursday. Then you'll be on the list. So you'll stay in the loop of everything that I'm doing.
All right. Okay, so Kels, let's have a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Start, scale, exit, repeat. I'm Colin C. Campbell, and I've started over a dozen multi-million-dollar companies in the last 30 years. I spent the last 10 years writing the book, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, to figure out what it is that these serial entrepreneurs do over and over again. We interviewed over 200 people. We created 58 chapters, over 30 illustrations, 180 callouts, and we quite frankly made this book for the ADHD entrepreneur. It's been #1 on Amazon in 15 categories and has won 12 awards globally. Get your book today, either on ebook, paperback, hardcover, or Audible on Amazon or your favorite bookstore.
There we go. That's another introvert. So, okay. So I think that's it. Kevin, Thanks for coming on today. I know it's New Year's Day and you probably had a pretty hard night, but I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. It's time to go watch some football now.
All right, fantastic. We'll see you later, Kev.
All right,
Once
take
again,
care.
thanks
Take
a
care,
lot.
everybody.
All right, where is Mr. Kelsey?
Well, just a reminder for everyone, make sure you subscribe to our newsletter. That's lwn.news. It's a weekly newsletter from Lunch with Norm, so you get updates from the podcast, any podcasts that you might have missed. We do a full recap, the takeaways. We do a story from your past, and any news and updates in the Amazon e-commerce world. So check it out, lwn.news. It's also in the description down below. And I think that's it.
Yeah, and as Kevin was mentioning, community is everything. So if you're interested in joining our community, we have a variety of different ways that you can join. You can listen to the podcast. You can go to lwn.news and sign up for a newsletter, join our WhatsApp group or our Facebook group. All right, everybody, we will see you next Wednesday for another Lunch with Norm.
Lunch with Norm.